Hi, this is Christopher Lee with AMUSE Music Center, and today I'm going to show you how to put together your flute and maintain it correctly. I'd like to start by pointing out that there's two different type of flute cases that you may run into. The first has these spring latches where you spread the latches to open the case. The other type of flute that you'll probably see has these draw type latches. You flip up and then you flip the latches down to open the case. It's very important that you open the case from the correct direction so that the flute doesn't fall out unexpectedly. The way that you would know the correct way to open the flute is on the case you have the insignia of the brand, and that you flip the latches up to start with and then down. Opening the case, we can take a look and we can see the way that the flute is put inside. We have 4 parts inside the case. The first part we have is the head joint, the foot joint, the body, and finally we have a plastic, metal, or wood flute rod that we use to clean the flute. We're going to put this aside for now and talk about that a little bit later. And then we're going to take a look at the parts that we need to put together on our flute. Okay. Starting with the body and with the foot joint, these two are going to join in this direction. Now it's really important that you line these up correctly, but also as you put it together that you hold it from the correct spot. So on a flute, because it's very delicate, we want to grasp the flute in places where there are no keys. So on the foot joint, we're going to grab it down here on the end. There's about an inch where you can hold on to it. We never want to grab the flute on the keys. Again, you can twist and bend, and flute repairs are quite expensive, so it's better to grab it where there are no keys. And on the body, there's a large area, about 2 inches here at the top. This is called the collar. You can grasp it on the collar in order to have control of it to put it together. Now as we put it together, you're going to put it in like so, and it should just go right in. You shouldn't struggle with it, and it shouldn't be hard to put together. Now if you look closely here, the way to line up the keys, there's a set of arrows, and as you rotate it, you can see that you can get the arrows to line up just like so. Now your flute may not have arrows, this one does, but there's another way that you can double check to make sure you've put this together correctly. And that is looking at the post here, the row of keys of the post lines up with the keys, and here the post lines up with the keys. So that's how we put together the body and the foot joint of the flute. Moving on to the head joint, we're going to put that together similar to the way that we put the rest of this together. Again, grasping here around the collar and grasping here in the center. Just going to twist it together, and it should go in very, very easily. You shouldn't have to force it. It should just slide right together. Now, as far as which way to line this up, on this flute, there's a little arrow again right here at the top of the collar, and that lines up with the little insignia of the brand of the instrument that it is. But another way you can tell that this is put together correctly is if the hole for the mouthpiece lines up with all of the keys going down of the body. After you finish playing your flute, it's time to maintain your flute and then put it back in the case. So for starters, we're going to take our flute rod, and this is the part that will help us clean our flute. You're also going to need a rod cloth. We sell rod cloths in these care kits. It should be just a cotton cloth, not too big. We don't want it to get stuck inside the flute. So we'll take this one here. It should be about this big, about 8 inches by 8 inches, and that'd be just fine. There's an eyelet here on the rod, and we're going to feed one corner of the cloth through the rod and then double it back, so now it becomes a swab. And now we'll start to take the flute apart. We're going to start by taking off the head joint. Again, we want to grasp the instrument where there are no keys. So my right hand is holding the instrument where there are no keys so that we don't bend anything. Set that down for now. And then we're going to take our swab and rod, and we're going to push it into the flute head joint and give it a few twists. This is going to take out any moisture that's in your flute. The moisture can make your pads warp and eventually crack and need to be replaced. So we want to make sure we take all the water out of the instrument. Do it a couple times. And now the head joint can go back in the case. A quick word of which direction to put it in. There's a little cutout on this side to allow the mouthpiece to go in. So we're going to line it up like so. The body of the instrument, again, we're going to grasp it here at the bottom and here at the top, and a quick twist and a little outward pressure separates the two. We'll set the foot joint down for the moment. Again, using our rod, push it up into the flute. You can push it all the way through and it comes out the other side. And for good measure, we'll do it a second time. Just making sure that we're getting all the moisture out of the flute. Okay, now we can put this back in the case. And again, just like with the head joint, the way that we want to line this up is so that the row of posts here is facing away from the center of the case. Those are going to run right along the outside. With the foot joint, we do it the same way as the body joint. We're just going to pass this through a couple of times. Make sure we pick up all the water. And then this goes back in the case. Just like with the body joint, we're going to place the row of rods here on the outside. So those are going to be on the outside of the case, not the center of the case. With the rod cloth, we'll take it off, fold it up, and set that there. The rod itself goes back in the case. And the rod cloth goes back in the case. That's how we put it back in. When we go to close it up, make sure that we latch it. We don't want any accidents. We don't want the flute falling out. And that's how we put together, maintain, and disassemble and repack our flutes.